In this video, we are going to see checkmate in 2 moves. If you like this video, kindly press like button and subscribe button. Here, the queen is focusing on f8. So, queen into f8, king into f8, rook d8 is checkmate because of the f6 pawn, which prevents black king from coming to the second rank. So, if there is an f6 or h6 pawn, there may be a chance for a back mate. You can again see this. So queen into f8 check, king into f8, rook d8 is mate. So mate in 2 moves. So moving on to the next diagram, the bishop on b3 is pinning that f7 pawn. The bishop on b2 is focusing on the long black diagonal, the a1 to h8. So with the combination of the bishop, queen moves to c3 or e5 to threaten mate on h8. So this cannot be avoided because the f pawn cannot be moved. It's pinned by the bishop. So it is mate. So queen and bishop combination, it's a mate here. If black moves some rook to e8 or other moves, he can mate at h8. So moving on to the next position, we see that there is a attack on h7 by queen, bishop and rook, but black queen, knight and king is supporting it. So white removes the two supports by playing queen into a knight check. So queen is forced. Now rook into h7 is mate. So next diagram we see there is a pawn check by g4, but king can escape to h4 square. So h4 square should be blocked. So rook h4 check, knight into h4, then g4 is mate. So white knight is covering that g6 square and black bishop is covering g5 h6 square. So it is mate. Now in this position, the king cannot move to g7 or f7 because knight is covering this g7 and bishop is covering f7. So white prepares a queen sacrifice here. So white plays a queen sacrifice here by playing queen h5 check. If the knight is captured, then queen h7 mate. If the queen is captured, then bishop f7 mate. So black captures knight. So queen h7 mate because e4 and f4 squares are covered by the pawn and e6 square is covered by the bishop. So it's made here. Now so far we have seen only white mates. Now it is black mates here. So by playing rook to d7 he can mate black king, but knight is not supported. Anyway he can play rook d7 check, king into knight, bishop e5, it is mate. So you can see here, if there is no pawn on g2, then queen f2 is mate. So black plays for removing that pawn by playing rook into h3 check. So g into h3, then queen f2 mate. But what happens if white plays king into h3? Then it is mate on h6 by queen h6. So moving on to the next diagram, we see that there is a check by knight into f2, but the king can move to f5. After queen h3 check, he can go to knight e5, king e5. So but black plays direct queen check, sacrificing the queen. After king into h3, that is forced move, knight f2 is mate here. So mate in 2 by sacrificing his queen. Now one check by g4, it is mate, but the pawn is not supported. So king can take the pawn, but there is another mate here by bishop e2. So again it's mate in 2 by sacrificing a pawn here. Now as in mate in 1 there is a knight g3 check, knight g3 and rook h1 combination, but there is a pawn here, f2 pawn is there, but pawn into knight, then comes f4 into g3 mate.